Good evening, Unity on the Bay. Happy Monday to everybody. I'm glad you're here, and those of you that are not here that will be here, I welcome you. We're kicking off Holy Week, and that's a beautiful time of the year. It's also a little difficult for me to fathom that it's already the middle of April. Time is moving right along, and we're moving right along with it. Welcome to another exciting adventure in self-discovery. We call it self-discovery because every week I pick a book off the shelf behind me, and we talk about it from a spiritual perspective. They're all spiritual topics. Tonight we're working with the book as we did last week, and as we will be for the next few weeks. The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. You can see this is a relatively worn copy. That's because I've had this book, I was just looking, I've had this book since August of 2003. It was given to me by an individual who was heading up what was then called the Adventure in Faith program at Unity of the Palm Beaches. Now it's more commonly referred to as Spirit Groups at Unity on the Bay. And it was a perfect book for that because it's divided into 7 chapters, one for each of the spiritual laws that Deepak discusses. And it's an easy read. And I mentioned to you last week that it doesn't contain really, I don't think, any material that's going to be new or revelatory for you. It's a book of reminders. And just as I was preparing for tonight's program, I was reminded of many things in the exploration of chapter 2, which is the law of giving. Just a reminder that this is an interactive program. I love it when you respond in the chat section, and let me know you're here just by throwing a hello, good evening, happy Monday, or whatever you like, so that I know that you're with us. And as people are joining us, I'll go on to say that this second law, the law of giving, is essentially telling us that whatever we put out into the world. Hi, Geeta. Thanks for being here, my dear. Let me know you're here, folks, just by throwing something into the chat, and then keep the comments coming, because this is an interactive program, and I love it when you share your perspectives, whether they agree with me, whether they agree with Deepak Chopra. I just like to hear what's on your heart in response to the material that we cover each week in this program. But really what he's telling us in this second law, the law of giving, is that whatever we put out is what we get back, which essentially just means that, and Geeta, you'll like this, we're always sending out a vibration. We are vibratory beings in this physical manifestation, and we're always sending a vibration out. And the vibration we send out is equal to the vibration that we experience or that we receive through individuals and circumstances and situations in our lives. It could be no other way, because there's this incredible thing called the law of attraction, which means that the energy, the vibration that we're sending out is always drawing to us. A lot of times, in life, we would like to blame our circumstances, our situations, our relationships on other individuals, on outside forces, institutions, organizations outside of us. And I don't believe that it works that way. I know some people really resonate with the law of attraction and others really don't. For me, I have found it to be something that really does resonate from my heart. And hello, Leo. Hope you continue this program if you can during retirement. I'll do my best. People keep asking me what I'm going to do when I retire. And, the only instruction I've gotten from Spirit is that it's time, and that the destination is Kansas City, where I can be with my family again, my son, my daughter, my former wife, and my beloved granddaughter, Ashlyn. So that's really all I know at this point. Is I'm leaving Florida and going to Kansas City, and what kind of work I'm engaged in there is yet to be seen. But I do know I love these Monday evenings with all of you, and certainly appreciate so much your presence here and your contribution. So again, it's like whatever we're putting out is what we're getting back. And it means it's really important to be mindful of the energy, the vibration, the vibe that we're extending, because, sometimes we don't think people are picking up on the internal vibration of our being, but they really are. They pick up on our thoughts. We pick up on each other. We're all, have sort of a sense of extrasensory perception, if you think about it. We may not be consciously aware of it, but we do have that ability. We feel people and people feel us in terms of the energy and the vibration that we're putting out. So again, let me know you're here. If you're present, just throw something into the chat, and then let's see what you think about the material that we're exploring tonight. Again, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra, a good friend of Unity on the Bays. I hope that he can come back and see us again now that the COVID wave seems to be subsiding, because he's been to visit us many times, and it's always been a treat, a joy, an honor, a privilege to call him a friend of our spiritual community. So here we go. You ready? The second spiritual law of success is the law of giving. This law could also be called the law of giving and receiving, because the universe operates through dynamic exchange. Nothing is static. Your body is in dynamic and constant exchange with the body of the universe. Your mind is dynamically interacting with the mind of the cosmos. Your energy is an expression of cosmic energy. Just take that in for a minute. You are an expression of cosmic energy. So it really doesn't serve us to depreciate ourselves by feeling the experiences of lack and limitation and unworthiness, undeservedness, inadequacy, because we are expressions of cosmic energy. And if you haven't noticed, the cosmos is very large. So you're part of something much greater and grander. We're just beginning to understand really how massive the cosmos is, how seemingly infinite in its nature that it is. You are an expression of that same cosmic energy. Hi, Christina. Glad you're here. Thanks for joining us. Digging through the pages of Deepak Chopra's 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. He goes on to say, the flow of life is nothing other than the harmonious interaction of all the elements and forces that structure the field of existence. I'll say that again. The flow of life is nothing other than the harmonious interaction of all the elements and forces that structure the field of existence. And the key word there for me, see what you think about it, is harmonious. There is harmony in the flow of life. That is, there's cooperation, there's interdependence, there's a sense of peace in the way in which the energies and the dynamics of the cosmos and the universe interact and expand. Again, we're part of that. So when we are aligned with the flow of life, we're aligned with harmony, and we are free of resistance, of fear in any form or fashion. We're free of judgment, and we're free of conflict. So you can be sure that anytime you're experiencing fear, conflict, judgment, any of those experiences, nothing wrong or right about them. But when you're experiencing them, you're in some way withholding the free flow of the harmonious exchange of energies within the universe. And then he goes on to say, this harmonious interaction of elements and forces in your life operates as the law of giving. Because your body and your mind and the universe are in a constant and dynamic exchange, stopping the circulation of energy is like stopping the flow of blood. Whenever blood stops flowing, it begins to clot, to coagulate, to stagnate. That is why you must give and receive in order to keep wealth and affluence, or anything else you want in life, circulating. Must give and receive in order to keep wealth and affluence. And a lot of times we think that the more we have, the more we have, the more we have. The more we have, the more we want. The more we want, the more we get. And I think we discussed this last week. The spiritual journey is not as much about acquiring as it is about releasing. So we're not in this game to get our hands on something because we already have our hands on it. We're just not conscious of it. We already have everything that we need. It's often been said we cannot outgive God. And that's because God has already given us infinite intelligence, infinite creativity, and infinite supply. Right, Cindy Bender? You're proof positive of that. Christina says, yes, harmony needs to be everywhere and in everything for life to flow into the right path. It's the harmony that allows, thank you, Christina, the free flow. And the free flow is what we're after, so that life becomes an experience in ease and grace and peace and poise. And don't we need these qualities right now more than ever? So here in particular, he's referring to wealth and affluence, I think primarily from a financial perspective, but remember that wealth is far more than the amount of money that one has in the bank, though I hope you all have large sums of money now and that they grow larger into the future, because money is wonderful. It's a symbol of energy, and you're welcome to as much of it as you want. We can also expand our understanding of wealth from a spiritual perspective by realizing that if we woke up this morning, we are affluent. If we were able to navigate our way through this day, we are affluent. If we can discover and maintain a sense of peace and harmony and wholeness and abundance within our minds and within our hearts, we're working in the right direction of this law of giving. He goes on to say the word affluence comes from the root word affluere, which means to flow to. The word affluence means to flow in abundance. Money is really a symbol of the life energy we exchange and the life energy we use as a result of the service we provide to the universe. Another word for money is currency, which also reflects the flowing nature of energy. The word currency comes from the Latin word curie, and I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, but there you go, which means to run or to flow. So this is the key. When you're in the flow of life, all things come easily to you, all forms of abundance. Therefore, if we stop the circulation of money, if our intention is to hold on to money and to hoard it, since it is life energy, we will stop its circulation back into our lives as well. Now, this is why we are often exposed to the teaching of tithing. I'm just going to go into this for a moment. And I don't know where you all are at in terms of the law of tithing, giving 10% of what one receives to the source or sources of one's spiritual nourishment. And for me, it's never been about the 10%, although I am a devoted tither of that 10% and oftentimes more, just because I've learned the benefit of keeping things in circulation. So I'm not tithing out of a sense of obligation or even responsibility, but a sense of awareness that the only way to keep all manner of goodness coming into my life is to share it as freely and fully as I possibly can with others. And this is important to remember because oftentimes we're just preoccupied with the balance in the bank, which is fine and it's wonderful. But what are we doing with that balance? You know, is it just sitting there, or is it in any way helping us to be a servant of service in the world? So circulation, he says, keeps us vital and keeps us alive. We have to keep the energy circulating. Like a river, money must keep flowing. Otherwise, it begins to stagnate, to clog, to suffocate, and to strangle its very own life force. What do you think about this, my friends? This is not news, I realize. This is the law of giving and receiving. It's fundamental to the unity way of life. It's fundamental to all of the new thought variations on spiritual perspective that I'm aware of. It's nothing new, but it is helpful to remember this. And it's not just money we're talking about. We'll get into this in just a minute, but let me go on with some more of what he has to say here. It is the intention behind your giving and receiving. This is crucial. It is the intention behind your giving and receiving that is the most important thing. The intention should always be to create happiness for the giver and the receiver, because happiness is life supporting and life sustaining, and therefore generates increase in itself. The return is directly proportional to the giving when it is unconditional and from the heart. So what he's telling us here is that our giving, the motivation behind it, the spirit behind it, the potential for the capacity of joy in the experience of giving, has everything to do with how this law is going to work for us. It's not just that we give, but checking in with where are we at when we're giving. Like I was saying about, some people feel tithing is a responsibility and obligation. Others find it to be the most joyful financial activity that they ever engage in. It's because of the mindset. And the mindset, whatever it is that we may be giving, anytime we're giving a gift of any kind, tangible or intangible, it's the spirit behind the gift that actually makes it more precious and valuable, both to the one who is receiving it and the one who is giving it. So the return is directly proportional to the giving when it is unconditional and from the heart. That is why the act of giving has to be joyful. The frame of mind has to be one in which you feel joy in the very act of giving. Now, we have this mindset that says, if I give something to you, I have less. And how am I going to feel joyful if I feel like I have less and now you have more? It's a misnomer to believe that when we give something to another person, we have less. On the level of appearances, from a purely materialistic perspective, it may be true. If I give somebody $100, I have $100 less in my bank. But that's not what we're about here. What we're about is realizing the joy that comes from giving, the joy. And when we give, that joy is increased. And that joy is what provides our supply, because the joy puts us into the mindset of affluence, of prosperity, of abundance. And you cannot give away ever more joy than you have. Whenever you're giving from a space of joy, you're always going to find your joy increases. You see, I believe that we are designed to give. It's our nature to be giving. Gibran says something about, just like the myrtle tree gives its fragrance, it's designed to do that. It's made to do that. And if it were to try to withhold that fragrance, it would perish, because it's part of what it is. And that so it is with the joy. Let's see. So I wonder what his viewpoint is on saving money for the future. That's a good question. And the thought did cross my mind today, Gita, while I was going through the pages of this book, because I was thinking, about saving, and that wretched statement, saving for a rainy day, which I wouldn't recommend. But saving, I remember my friend Jim Rosemergy used to say, I save in my opportunity fund, so that whenever there's an opportunity, I have the ability to support that opportunity, to move into it from a financial perspective. Christina, I don't feel I have less when I give. In the contrary, I have more because I am giving. Thank you. You really captured it, Christina. You really captured it. And while I'm not here to give a sermon on tithing, what I will say is that when we give freely and fully with joy in our hearts financially, it comes back to bless us. I wish I could tell you the infinite number of times, it seems, since I have become devoted in the tithing practice in my own life, how many changes have been wrought from that. It's really an amazing experience to witness. Just give it a try. And you don't have to, if you're a tither, that's great. I think it's a wonderful practice. It's a tool to help us realize the infinite nature of the abundance that surrounds us. But whether you're a tither or not, just when you give, become aware of the state of mind from which you are giving. And if you're giving out of a sense of, I'm giving, but I don't know if this is going to work, and I don't know if this is really the flow of life is really about me, if it really is going to work for me, or we're giving out of a sense of obligation or bitterness because we have to. Anytime we're asked to give, check in and move into the highest state of joy and elation that you possibly can before the giving even begins. And giving from that state of consciousness always has a rich return in your life. Now, here's a catch. If you're giving with the expectation of return, you can have a problem there. You have to give without expectation of what you're going to receive. And in that expectation-free gift, because you're not giving as a way of enriching yourself, that's not the mindset you're coming from. The mindset you're coming from is, I'm giving just because it feels great to give. Then you're really opening up. Giving with attachment to receiving, there's some snarls and some snares there. Let's see, Leo, studies show that giving someone $100 makes you happier than spending it on yourself. Isn't that the truth? Being able to provide wonderful experiences for other people, people that you love and people that you don't even know. Just put it into practice, and especially try to catch yourself anytime you're being asked to give and there's resistance or a pushback. Even if it might be you're being asked to give more than you feel you can or need to or should give, just stay in touch with that. The reality is that when you give experiences to others, there's hardly anything that's richer or more rewarding. Thank you, Leo. And Irene, hi, Irene. Is tithing an investment for our acceptance of what is? It certainly can be. Thank you for that question. And I welcome all the questions, and I welcome you even responding to each other in this chat this evening. Is tithing an investment for our acceptance of what is? Yes, I believe it is. I also believe it is an investment for our appreciation of what is. Our appreciation of it. If we give without thought of receiving, though we know it's inevitable that law works, if we give without thought of receiving, it will, I believe, inevitably increase our appreciation for what we have. And so often, my friends, we get caught up in what we don't have. It's a human tendency to go into the mindset of lack and think, I don't have enough to be able to do this. I don't have enough to be able to make this gift to another individual. And the reality is that's a trap, because if you're focused on lack, that's where your energy, your attention, your focus is going. You will bring greater lack into your experience. And the art of tithing allows us to sort of prove. That's what it does. It proves. It's a test to prove that we cannot outgive the universe. And it's a wonderful way, because you're able to experience the giving of whatever it is that you may have to give. It's a wonderful way to increase your appreciation, which is very similar to acceptance, I think, Irene. To appreciate and to accept. I guess I should say first to accept what we have, recognize it, and then to appreciate it. Let's see, where were we here now? I'm going to move along here because I love this little piece of, boy, the time flies on this program, I'm telling you. But this is good stuff right here. Here we go. The best way to put the law of giving into operation, to start the whole process of circulation, is to make a decision that anytime you come in contact with anyone, you will give them something. Anytime you come in contact with anyone, you will give them something. It doesn't have to be in the form of material things. Pay attention to this, because giving is a valuable spiritual practice way beyond just money and material possessions. So it doesn't have to be in the form, he says, of material things. It could be a flower. Well, that's a material thing. It could be a compliment or a prayer. In fact, the most powerful forms of giving are non-material. The gifts of caring, attention, affection, appreciation, and love are some of the most precious gifts you can give. And they never deplete, my friends. Your heart is so full of love, so full of affection and caring and appreciation. You can give these gifts and they don't cost you anything. When you meet someone, you can silently send them a blessing, wishing them happiness, joy, and laughter. This kind of silent giving is very powerful. And I'm here for a little testimony as we wrap this evening up. You know, I think most of you know, if you know me very well, that I am a walker, and I'm very fortunate to live in this wonderful climate of Florida with a park right next door to my condominium. So I find myself walking in the early morning hours frequently over in Margaret Pace Park. And I love to enter into this practice where I'm just walking and other people are walking. And as they approach me or as they pass me from behind, I just send them a silent blessing. I just could be as simple as silently saying to myself, I behold the Christ in you. Have a blessed day. You can also do this verbally. It's amazing, my friends, that the world, it seems at times, is almost starving for affection, appreciation, attention, recognition. There are people on your path right now in your midst that could benefit from these and the priceless gifts that literally don't cost anything. Just the gift of your attention. Have you tried that? Just give the gift of your attention to somebody. Just listen to them without thinking about how you're going to respond. It's a beautiful gift, and it's kind of rare in this world today. The dominance of well-being is infinite. Amen, Gita. Christina, I walk 5 miles every day. Thank you for that. I will. Oh, you're very welcome. 5 miles is good. I'm not sure what I do 4 or 5 laps around the park, but I don't think that's 5 miles. But yeah, just try it. There's this guy, and I'll wrap it up with this. There's this guy in Margaret Pace Park. I don't know his name. Sometimes I barely recognize him until he waves at me and says, good morning. He's a jogger. And I thought, oh, maybe he goes to Unity on the Bay. The first time it happened, I thought maybe he just goes to Unity on the Bay and just knows who I am. That sometimes happens out in the park. But that wasn't the case, because I realized this guy does this with everybody in the park. And he's there almost every morning. As he's jogging along, he just takes a moment, waves to each person that he passes and says, good morning. That's amazing. That guy is giving, who knows who's receiving that early morning greeting from him, and who knows how badly they might need it. And how fortunate he is to realize that he can gift a lot of people every morning just by jogging around a park. And so can you, whether you're a jogger, a walker, or whether you ever exercise at all. Just become mindful as people are passing. What can I give them? He wraps it up here with saying this, and I'll close on this note. This is where he's talking about applying the law of giving. He says, I will put the law of giving into effect by making a commitment to take the following step. Wherever I go and whoever I encounter, I will bring them a gift. The gift may be a compliment, a flower, a prayer. Today, I will give something to everyone I come in contact with. And so I will begin the process of circulating joy, wealth, and affluence in my life and in the lives of others. Really, my friends, what could be simpler than that? If you're seeking to increase the flow of life, the unobstructed flow of life, free of all resistance, and good Lord, who isn't? This is a wonderful way to begin. And I'll recommit to it. And if you want to commit to it tonight, please do. Just start sending a blessing. A silent blessing, a prayer. Give this to everyone that you meet, especially those that you may encounter conflict or inharmonious exchanges with. Just stop in your tracks. Don't expect them to be the one to start this process. You start it by deciding right here and right now, I'm going to give the greatest gift I can give, which is the gift of my blessing, the gift of my love, silently, secretly, but very effectively. So thanks, my dear friends. I hope you have a wonderful Holy Week. Some reminders that Thursday evening at 7 p.m. at Temple Israel and online, Facebook Live and YouTube, we'll be bringing you Reverend Juan and some of our prayer chaplains as they present a wonderful communion experience. This is an annual event every year at Unity on the Bay, where we actually take communion together. And it's beautiful and it's sacred. It's a wonderful ritual. It'll enrich your life. Thursday, which is Holy Thursday, Maundy Thursday this week, Temple Israel, 7 p.m., and also online. And then Sunday, Reverend Juan is opening our Easter Day in a beautiful way on the beach, North Beach in Miami, North Miami Beach. You can go online to register for this. It's going to be a sunrise Easter service on the beach. Is that cool or what? You can be a part of it. It's not going to be, I don't believe, broadcast, but it'll be, I know, a beautiful and intimate and rewarding way to start your Easter Sunday. If you're not that much of an early bird, if you're still energized after going to the beach meditation, come and join us at 9:30 or 11:15 a.m. for our Sunday celebrations, our Easter presentation. My talk is The Choice for Resurrection. And I'd love to see you in person. And I'd love it if you can join us online either way. But have a blessed week and a wonderful Easter holiday, and know that I love you very, very much. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you next Monday on Shelf Discovery. Good night.